Hey everybody. I had to take the time to really think about whether or not I was going to do this video today, but I think somebody needs to say something. And I don't hold myself out to be this social activist or anything like that, but I wanted to talk about the whole thought process that I've been seeing on Facebook when Black people respond to racism nowadays in a violent type way. I see people comment on the post, we are not our ancestors. We are not our ancestors. And they're saying it to say that the things that our ancestors took and the abuse that our ancestors accepted, we won't accept. And that often reflects in when a white person, calls somebody a nigga or says something racial about Black people, the response is usually that white person getting beat up. That's what it boils down to. And if that's where we're headed with this whole we are not our ancestors, that's not going to get us anywhere, people. And I understand the anger and outrage at being called a nigga. I got called a nigga the first time ever in my life, last month. And I know you're thinking, like, what? Yeah, this is my first time having a white person ever use the N word at me. And my initial response was laughter. I started laughing, and I guess he got out of my presence so fast that I'm sure that laughter probably would have turned to anger. But my initial response to being called a nigga is just I started laughing because at first I was kind of shocked that he just said that over something so petty and stupid. But I think what we need to do, and we do need to understand, yes, we are not our ancestors. We aren't. And it's not what we think it is. Our ancestors were not free. They were in chains. They were slaves. We are in a form of systematic oppression and slavery, but we're not slaves. We are not in chains, and we don't suffer. We have never suffered. I've never suffered the abuse that any of my ancestors suffered. I've suffered abuse, don't get me wrong, as a child, but this was at the hands of somebody that was Black. All the abuse in my life that I've suffered always been at the hands of another Black person. So we are not our ancestors. We have political influence. Our ancestors didn't have that. We have educational opportunities that our ancestors did not have. We have financial power that our ancestors did not have. Our ancestors had no ability to sway things financially with what they did with their money because they were slaves. They had limited opportunity to spend. And then we have social influence as a race that our ancestors did not have. And then what we do have, which is the same thing our ancestors had, is the ability to reproduce ourselves. We have that kind of power. So I wanted to go back to education. We have educational opportunities that our ancestors never had. We have the ability to go to college, get degrees, learn whatever we want to learn. It's the information age. Anything that you want to learn, you can Google it. And poof, the information is right there. This is the information age. Black people have so many more educational opportunities than our ancestors ever had, to the point that we have no excuse for ignorance when it comes to any area of life. When it comes to the education, the political process, when it comes to corporate America, when it comes to the same tools that white people use to get rich, we have access to that same information. And I feel like we no longer have the excuse of, well, my kids didn't have the opportunities that these other kids have because of the schools they went to. We don't have that excuse no more because the internet is alive and well. So anything that they're learning in these upper class schools, as Black people, we got access to that same information. Google it. Anything you want to learn. I cannot tell you how much stuff I've learned how to do just by simply internet searching it. I've learned how to develop my own marketing materials. I learned how to write business plans. I learned how to write grant proposals. I've learned how to design and develop websites. All this stuff I learned just by simply getting on a computer and researching the information and doing it. But we are investing our time into things that are not progressing our race. And as a Black people, no, we're not our ancestors. We got access to stuff our ancestors only could dream about being able to do. And you think you're honoring your ancestors because you beat up somebody that called you a nigga and then say we are not our ancestors. We putting shame on our own, on our ancestry, if that's what you want to call it. Because we got opportunities that our ancestors didn't have. And then political influence. You know, as a race, we got political influence. Had it not been for the Black vote, Barack Obama wouldn't have made it in the office. And I'm not saying that because that's a great thing in my opinion, because I have political views that don't coincide with the majority of Black people when it comes to Barack Obama. But you do see the political influence that Black people can have if we investigate these candidates and make decisions based on our best interests. And just because somebody is our color doesn't mean that they are in our best interest. We have to realize house niggas exist. And I see Pastor Richard saying, but it seems like whites have more access than Blacks. We got to get away from that defeatist mentality. There is no piece of information that white people have access to that we can't just Google. If you want to know how to start a business, you can Google that information. Yes, they have information introduced to them that we don't get introduced to as Black people. Their children are introduced to information that our children are not initially introduced to. But the information is still available. What I did one time, and I'm going to tell you this, is I got the curriculum for a college course because I wanted to get the information, but I had no way of going to this school. So I got the curriculum because you can get it. You can just look it up and get the curriculum and find out what it is that they are learning topically. And then I Googled the topics and learn the information. That's self-education. Stop waiting for them to hand us anything. See, we are not our ancestors. Our ancestors had to accept what was handed to them. We don't. If they're not teaching your kids how to start businesses in school, if they're not teaching your kids financial planning, business planning in school, guess what? You can Google it and teach it to them yourself. The time for excuses in the Black race is over. And make it so bad, they know it because they put the information out there. Who you think is putting the information out there? You can go, there's nothing that you can't learn on YouTube. You can Google videos on how to do almost any doggone thing. So lack of education has nothing to do with lack of opportunity to learn. It's lack of desire to learn. And that's something that white folks ain't got no power over. They can't control my desire to learn. Because anything I want to learn, I'm going to learn. If they don't want to teach it to me, guess what? I'm going to Google it and find out anyway. I have my own nonprofit. You know how many people I done went to try to get help on how to do this, how to write a business plan, on how to write a grant proposal, on how to do this and how to do that. They don't want to readily give me any information or help me. I had to get online and Google this information and learn it on my own. But that means you got to invest your time and energy into seeking knowledge. You sitting around as my Black people waiting on them to say, okay, let's start teaching the niggas this. How do we sound? Sometimes we literally begging those that we accuse of oppressing us to provide us with the information we need to no longer be oppressed. Why would they do that? Why would they help us not be oppressed? Think about that for a minute. We got to start thinking and realizing that everything we have is out there. Everything we need is out there. But see, we're like Adam and Eve was in the garden when they got caught up doing something wrong. They started pointing fingers at each other. Adam, it's that wife you gave me. Eve, that serpent beguiled me. We like them Black, we just like them. The reason why we can't see is because them white people won't do this and they won't do it. Why would they? If they've made their billions off of our sweat and blood, sweat, and tears, if their system is based on us being at the bottom and them being at the top, why would they ever help us get from the bottom? Their whole thing would fall apart. But the Bible says, I will not have you ignorant. So the information is out there. We're not seeking knowledge. I can tell you the times that people probably sit on their computer and spend more time watching these videos being posted of people fighting and arguing and comical videos, spend more time watching stuff like Power. What that hour a week that you spend watching Power, what if you spent that hour learning how to write grants? If you invested that hour learning how to write a business plan? If you invested that hour every week learning how to start your own business? The information is out there. I know it's out there because I've learned it. So the excuses that we are making for our lack of prosperity and success, y'all may not like this. We got to stop blaming white people for our failure as a race. We got to stop blaming white people for our economic and sociological condition as a race. We have to start taking responsibility for where we are right now. Stop looking at where we was back then, because that's what's keeping us stuck right now. Because they oppressed our ancestors. They beat, raped, robbed our ancestors. Yes, it does happen to Black people today, but it's nowhere near the same as it happened to our people when they was in chains. Imagine you being literally chained up and you can't even fight somebody trying to rape you. Imagine that for one moment. We are not our ancestors. I can't even imagine going through what my ancestors went through. I don't think I could have survived. I don't know if I could have survived that. Being raped, beaten. But see, I've suffered some of these things, but they was at the hand of my own people. So we as a race need to start looking in the mirror and understand why it is and how it is that in a time in our lives we have access to all this information that we still ignorant. There's no excuse for the ignorance no more in our race. There's no lack of ability to learn. Just because they took prayer out of school, they can't take it out your home. If you pray up enough at home, them kids can go to school and do just fine. Everybody want to whine and complain about what they doing. They this, they. When are we going to take responsibility? Then we got financial power as a race. We have the ability to make or break a business. We have the ability to make them billionaires or put them out of business. But the problem of it is we as a race are so competitive. We got to outdo one another. Somebody can't run out and get a pair of Jordans without you wanting a pair of Jordans. And I know you said Michael Jordan black, but guess what? There's somebody white making money off of every pair of Jordans you buy. He ain't did it by himself. There's always a white guy behind the scenes cashing a check. Papa John's. This man had to retire from his company because he used the N-word. And he showed how he really felt about black people and got exposed for it. So now what they do? You got Shaq all over the TV now promoting Papa John's. How many black people still go by their pizza knowing that this man, I don't care because he done stepped down, he still owned probably the majority stock of the company. He's still making money off of every piece of you buy. Somebody you know done called you a nigga. But yet you want to scream, we are not our ancestors when somebody called you a nigga face to face? And you want to punch him and beat him? What's the point in doing all that when you're going to give these corporate racists your money? What's black people? And this is stuff I've always been saying. You know, I'm not no perfect person. Don't think I am for not one bit. I ain't got caught up in the materialism and the rat race to go buy this and have this and do this. And I got caught up in all that before. But as I started to develop my mind in search of knowledge and to learn and understand how these things operate, I realized that the very system we complain about, we can absolutely destroy if we would just control our spending, give up our lustful desires to compete and keep up with the Joneses. Get what you need, buy what is necessary. And y'all see, I get my hair done, I get my nails done. There's nothing wrong with doing little things for yourself. But I don't do these things to compete with another sister. I like my nails being done. My hands look like a man hand without my nails being done. I like my hair being done because I look, you know, like a hot mess without it being done. If what you're doing is not to compete, then I have no issue with anybody treating themselves. But when it's all about keeping up with the Joneses, when it's all about posting on social media that I got this and you don't, and that's what our music promotes. But see, we have to look beyond and behind the entertainment industry. Yes, we got to understand what the new blackface is. We get outraged if a white person put on blackface to make themselves look black and start acting like us. We get outraged at that because that's completely racially insensitive. That's blackface. But when white corporate America puts a blackface in a commercial to sell their product, we don't understand that that's blackface. We should be just as offended as if they put on black makeup themselves and tried to sell us a product. We're allowing them to hide behind us, to make money off us. Everybody ran to go see Black Panther because it was an all-black cast. It was the black superhero. But that's a white-owned show. That movie was owned by Marvel, which is owned by white people. Stop letting them use blackface against us. Stop letting them use our skin color against us. Back in slavery, and see a lot of this because you guys are really ignorant as to what really went on during slave times. Study and research. They weren't even able to enslave us without the help of us. They had black people. Arabs worked with black people to originally enslave the black race in Africa. No, it wasn't white people that originally enslaved us in Africa. It was Arabs who did it. Europeans came to Africa to see what was going down and then bought some black people from them with the help of a black person. There's always a house nigga around. They can't do it without us. They can't oppress us without us. They can't earn our financial dollar without us. That's why they don't put white athletes out there with Nike. That's why they focus on black athletes, because they need that black dollar. Because they know we are one of the highest consumers out there. Because most white people, and the more white people than black people, are investing their money in homes and businesses and land ownership. Why do you think most marketing and advertising target the black dollar? Because we got money just wasting it. Because we're not investing in homes. We're not investing in businesses. We're not investing in our children's education. Whatever they can get for free, that's what they gonna get. Because we ain't gonna pay an extra dollar for them to learn nothing. And that's sad. Because you got white people that will pay thousands for their kids to get a good education, a better education than what free can offer them. We are not our ancestors. Our ancestors fought for and clawed for access to everything that we got access to now. We can't blame them for lack of education in our schools. We can't blame them for the ignorance of our children. That's our fault. That's on us. And I'm not going to say on us because my kids are very intelligent. Can you say that you've imparted something in your kids and taught them skills and knowledge and abilities that wasn't free? When I learned how to start a business, I tried to teach that to my kids. What is it that you handing down? What are you teaching them? You think these videos of people shaking their tail? What impression are you giving your children? You so busy trying to be a bad bee. You trying to be hood hard. But you're not investing that time and energy into educating your children. Setting up something that you can lead it in. It's all about you. That's what's going on. That's what's wrong with the black race now. That's what's wrong with black parents. It's all about you. You can really care less about what's going on with your kids. The only time you care about your kids is when it's time to act a fool because somebody hit them or mistreated them. You ready to show up and show out and act a fool then. But what are you doing in your downtime in between showing your tail? Are you teaching them anything? Are you educating them about anything? Are you showing them there's different ways of making money besides standing on the street corner and working a job? What are you teaching them? What are you showing them? And that's because we've allowed the same people that we accuse of oppressing us to dictate to us how to live. That's all you hear in Black music. Smoke this, hit that. That's all you hear in Black music. I'm trying to be this bad B, and I can't even act like some of the stupid stuff that I hear. That's all we care about. And guess where that music is coming from? The same people that we accuse of oppressing us. Yeah, they put a black singer up there to sing their songs and to send their message to us, to program us on how to behave and live. Because them house niggas up there realize they can't keep that record deal unless they promote that garbage to us. Why do you think all the entertainers sound alike and talk about the same stuff? Because that's the message that they bosses want to see. Black women ain't nothing but B's and H's. Black men ain't nothing but niggas and thugs. It ain't even no longer them oppressing us. It's us oppressing us. Because we buying into it. We can't blame them no more. No, we not our ancestors. We got way more access than our ancestors ever had. We got way more freedom than our ancestors ever had. We have way more ability to communicate to each other than our ancestors ever had. We not our ancestors. Half the time we're an embarrassment to what our ancestors were. Y'all think y'all saying something screaming, we not our ancestors. We not. But we can make that a good thing. We can make not being our ancestors something powerful. Because we got the political power. We got the financial influence. We got the educational opportunities. We got the ability to reproduce ourselves. We not our ancestors. But what does that mean to you? Turn that into something powerful, not violent. I decided to post this. Hopefully I can reach somebody and they hear this. If I can just get one mama to stop posting videos of shaking her tail and start posting videos educating. If I can get one brother to stop posting videos of them smoking blunts and post videos of them handing down some knowledge. If I can get just one brother to stop taking pictures posing with the white man's liquor, because that's who own the liquor companies. Who you think own Hennessy? There ain't no brother own that company. Who you think own whatever liquor is popular? We don't own none of that stuff. You show me one black owned liquor company. No. More pictures of brothers in front of the business that they own and run. More pictures of sisters teaching young girls how to do hair, how to run their own business, how to do something other than shake your tail. If I see another video twerking, I might throw up. We got to do better, people. And this is not meant to be no tear down. This is meant to be an encouragement to y'all. We not our ancestors. My ancestors wouldn't have been free to make this video. Come on, people. We got power and ability our ancestors could have only dreamed of. Let's use it to uplift our race instead of tearing each other down. Videos of us beating up one another over stupid stuff. We not our ancestors. Our ancestors fought for one another. Black men, I remember, was a time where they used to would die for their woman. You couldn't disrespect a black queen in front of a black man. Nowadays, it's the black man disrespecting the black queen. Calling us B's and H's. Up and down my timelines, H's this and B's this and really? All from the white man's programming. Using blackface to entertain us with their ideologies. Programming us to think like they want us to think and call ourselves what they want to call us. We not our ancestors. We got way more opportunity, and we got the ability to be way better and do more. What we gonna do with it, people? That's my video for today. The Lord has been on me about posting more, so I'm posting more. We not our ancestors, y'all. It's time to do better. Y'all have a blessed Sunday.